Okay, so we're ProVeg UK. We have our program called School Plates, and we are part of a much bigger organisation called ProVeg International. We've got 10 teams all around the world across 4 continents. And our aim, we're going to put on the next slide, our mission is reducing the global consumption of animals by 50% by the year 2040. So that is what we do everywhere we are. And in the UK, we focus entirely on school food and making that healthier and more sustainable. So we work with 40 major catering partners at the moment, and 31 of those are local authorities. We have some multi-academy trusts, we have some private caterers, and some companies who advise lots of schools. So it amounts to just over 5,000 schools that are benefiting from the healthier and more sustainable menus, and that is around just over 800,000 children that impacts. And as I just mentioned, our aims are very simple. It's to make school food healthier and more sustainable. Those are the 2 things. And the extra third thing is that we get a lot of great feedback from partners we work with that this also is saving them money. So yeah, everything we do with School Plates and at ProVeg is evidence-based. So this is coming from the kind of leading experts and all the research that's out there. So we know from things like the National Food Strategy and the Climate Change Committee that we need to be trying to reduce the amount of meat and dairy that we're consuming, and also get more fibre into our diets. And I've just picked out here some advice which was from the Climate Change Committee to local authorities specifically, which was suggesting that they should offer a fully plant-based option every day on their menus and ensure that staff are trained in vegan and vegetarian cooking. So that's the advice, and that is essentially what we help you to do. So we're here to help with that. This is just a little graphic comparing the CO2 emissions of an average primary school meal, so based on different types of food. So on the left you've got meat-based dishes, in the middle vegetarian, and on the right hand side these are our plant-based recipes, some of which Lisa's going to show you today. So we've just done an average of the CO2, and essentially one of our plant-based dishes is on average about half the emissions of a vegetarian dish and about a quarter of the emissions of a meat-based dish. So it's just really to highlight what a huge impact the food that we choose has on the planet. And kind of leading on from that, we also have this this little graphic which is in both of our free brochures that you can download from our website. And again, it's just comparing one of the classic dishes we see on lots of menus when we review them, a spaghetti bolognese. And what we've done is to take out the same amount of beef mince from the classic version and replace it with 50% lentils, 50% soya mince, and just compare. So you'll see that the plant-based version is 27% cheaper, 87% lower in saturated fat. It contains more than double the fibre, and it emits less than a third of the CO2 emissions. It's also almost identical in protein, both quite high for the size of portion. So it's ticking lots of boxes. Yeah, it's a positive step. And, you know, this isn't just about the planet, although that's really important. This is also about children's health. So we know that plant-based food does lots of positive things. It lowers the risk of obesity. In England, we've got a childhood obesity crisis, as we have in lots of other countries around the world. But in England, children starting school, it's just under a quarter of children starting school are either obese or overweight, which is terrible. And by the time they get to age 10, that's risen to over a third. We also know that plant-based food helps to lower our risk of chronic diseases. So loads of different chronic diseases, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, certain cancers. The list goes on. But basically, it's all linked to the fibre that you get, which you only get in plant-based foods. So that helps to create a healthy gut microbiome, which helps increase our boost our immune systems. So it's a real positive for our health as well. And I've mentioned the brochures. If you're not familiar with them, I hope you all are. Have a look on our website. You can download both of them. The one on the right hand side is our brochure, the guide, and it explains the program and how to implement it in a school setting. And the recipes on the left, that the lovely Chris Packer is holding up for us, it's 35 plant-based recipes that we've created for schools, and they're all costed. They are we've analysed all the nutrition, all the allergens, and the CO2 emissions. So we've kind of done all the hard work for you. They all comply with the school food standards. All you have to do is give them a go. And 2 weeks ago, we launched our new School Plates Award. So this is a brand new scheme, and it's essentially, we put our School Plates programme. We've got 23 actions that we recommend you take. You can pick any of those, and the more actions you tick off the list, we reward you with a bronze, silver or gold award. So it's just a thank you really for trying to make your menus healthier and more sustainable, and it's free, as with all of our services. So you just have to send us in your menus. Also, a couple of weeks ago, we had a very busy week that week. We were part of a show on BBC Radio 4 talking all about vegetarian and plant-based school food. So again, if this is something new to you or not new to you, it's really worth a listen. For 30 minutes. You can just look that up on the BBC website, and you get loads of great perspectives from climate scientists, from kids that are eating the food, from a head teacher and parents. So have a listen to that, and if you need any convincing as to why we should do more of this. And that's our contact details. If you want to look up and download the brochures, have a look, proveg.com. And if you want to get in touch, just drop us an email at schools@proveg.com. Brilliant. I will hand over to Lisa for our first recipe.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to show you today. So if you haven't got our recipe brochure, I do urge you to download it. So we're going to start with a homemade cottage pie. Then I'm going to show you a lovely pasta shells with creamy roasted tomato sauce. Then I'm going to show you how to do a Mexican style chili non carne, and then 2 desserts for you. We've got a crunchy crumble with summer fruits and a raspberry ripple yogurt, and we've got the sticky chocolate brownie as well. So all the nutrition has been broken down for you, and it's all obviously adheres to the school food standards as well. So we're going to start, as I said, with the cottage pie, and we've got a poll question for you as well, I believe, that should be coming up on your screen. And then after that, I'm going to talk you through the stats. So if I get that wrong, Colette, tell me, because I can't see the screen, just to let you know. So with the filling for the pie, you've got oil, onion, leeks, a nice strong flavours. The base of any delicious dish for me is oil and onions, garlic. So we're using garlic granules as well, dried thyme, tomato puree, dried brown lentils, soya mince, which I'll talk to you about as well, because it's a really lovely product. And you can easy to store, easy to use, goes a long way, and packed with goodness. Carrots and turnips for sweet. And then some seasoning, some veg stock, and then some delicious cheesy mash. Right, so let me put my hob on. It is a little bit loud, so I will speak up. So hopefully it's not going to be too loud for you. But I've got a new fancy induction hob. So I'm just going to put that onto the correct setting. Let's have a look. Function, right.
We've just got the results of the poll, Lisa. So do you
right.
have pies on your menu? 63% yes, 38% not at the moment. So maybe the 38% might put this on.
That's quite high, that's good. Yeah. So this, obviously there's a few different pies. This is obviously a traditional cottage pie in the style of. So I'm just going to heat up my oil. And of course, I've got my onions and my leeks that I've already chopped as well. So we're packing tons and tons of flavour into this pie. So packed with goodness, nice colours, great tastes, and a crowd pleaser. So in that goes. I'm just going to fry that off. So we really put a lot of thought into the recipes, and we actually are collaborating with some of our partners for our new recipe brochure, because we've had feedback, and because we review so many different menus up and down the country, all across the UK, we kind of get a sense of what's popular, what the trends are. I mean, it does vary from place to place, but in general, you know, a good pasta dish always goes down well. A good pie always goes down really well. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Quite strong, this induction hob. So a little tip for you, if like me, you put your hob up a little bit too high, just add a splash of stock. And that will instantly, oh, can you see me? It will instantly cool it down. And you get a little, it will stop it from sticking. So a little bit of vegetable stock there. So to that, I'm going to add my tomato paste. Again, nice deep flavours. We want to have as much flavour as possible. Nothing's bland. Everything's kind of like thought to be as exciting for the children as possible, because we want them to get into good habits at a young age. Therefore, we want them to be like looking forward to their lunchtime. It's a way of increasing their social skills, obviously, but also learning to enjoy their food. And also, when you have a good meal or a good lunch, you feel better, you're energized, you're ready for the rest of the day. So I'm cooking off the paste, because if you don't cook off the paste, it sometimes can be a bit, it doesn't taste as good. You need to cook that off. Okay, tiny bit more stock. So I said I was going to talk to you a little bit about soy mince, which you may or may not have come across. So you can get it in most supermarkets. I'm sure whoever your suppliers are, if you don't already use it, they can get it. I'll show you how it looks. So it looks, I guess, like big breadcrumbs, and a little goes a long way. It kind of absorbs and expands. Actually, I'm just going to add in my lentils. Now, we love adding lentils to things at ProVeg. Lentils are like a secret weapon. They're so good. We advise that you blend, if you do use meat, which most people do, obviously, if you have a mince, we say, well, maybe blend it 50% lentils, because they pad it out and then you've got the nutrients, and also it's a lot cheaper. But also they're just so good for you. They're just brilliant, and they're really tasty, and they've got like a really good texture to them, and they work perfectly in this pie. So I'm just cooking it off to show you. You can probably see anyway. So, and now I'm going to sprinkle in I've got dried thyme and garlic granules. Now, garlic granules, I always say this, they have the same nutritional value as fresh garlic. So in that goes, but it's just easier, you know, it's just so much easier to have it in a powder form. So a little bit of garlic, a little bit of thyme, and I can smell that thyme instantly. It smells so good. I'm just going to get that out of the way, because I'm going to be very organised today, I've decided. Yes. So again, nice and quick this dish, and you can make it in a big batch, obviously, in your big trays. Okay, so I am going to add mince to keep putting to. So in it goes. And then I'm going to add in the rest of the stock, because it does absorb the stock. And then I can see how much I need to add. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to add to the filling, apart from some seasoning, some pepper, is some carrots and some turnips. So in they go. I've diced them and I've parboiled them. You don't have to do that. I just do it for time-wise. You would just chop them finely on small pieces and put it straight in, and it would cook here and then in the oven. So mix all that together. So it's really filling, really satisfying. It's a perfect like wintry autumn dish.
Lisa,
Nice colours.
sorry, Lisa, we've got a question from Catherine, just checking what kind of lentils you used.
Oh, brown lentils. Brown lentils. The orange lentils tend to go a bit softer and they kind of disintegrate, which is fine for soups, and you can use it obviously to pad things out. But the brown lentils tend to hold their shape and have got more of more texture, more bite, and it works really well. So you've got the softness of the onion, the softness of the mince, but then you've got a bit of bite. So it's just a bit more interesting to eat.
And were they cooked? Were they pre-cooked, or were you putting them in raw?
I'm just going to turn this off.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Were they cooked lentils already? Were they already from a tin?
Now this for time wise, I had from a tin, but you can use dried. So you're only using 100 grams, and in the recipe it does say dried. And you would just fry them off pretty much like I've done, maybe, but you do it for just a little bit longer, a few more minutes, but then it would bake in the oven. But because I want to take it out within the time frame, I've just made it easier for myself. But it's up to you, because you can use pre-cooked as well. Yeah. So you can adapt our recipes. Obviously, you don't want to go too far off piece, because they are nutritionally balanced, and also adhered to the school food standards. But obviously, if you're replacing a vegetable for a vegetable, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So let me show you it. So a really nice, yummy, tasty, colourful filling rather. And I'm just going to put that down here whilst I make the topping. Okay, and it smells so good. I know you can't smell it. Right, so in here I have I boiled some potatoes, and I've put in some plant-based cheese. So it's really easy to get that plant-based cheese. It tastes so good. And I'm just using a pre-grated one out of the packet.
It looks like you haven't got that much cheese in there, so it doesn't really need too much.
No, exactly. In fact, I'll tell you exactly how much for the cheese. Yeah, 50 grams. So not a lot at all, considering you're going to get quite a big dish. So yeah, it's just, we'll give it a little bit of creaminess, a little bit of flavour, but the cheesiness actually comes from nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is available in all supermarkets. There's a few different brands, and I'll show you what it looks like. If you have been to one of our workshops before, you would have seen we use this quite a lot. It's such a wonderful product.
It looks like fish food.
It does,
but it's not. Food. Don't give it to your fish if you have fish.
It does look like fish, which makes it doesn't sound very attractive, but it is actually really, really tasty. So you can put it on loads of different things. It was just a whole host of things. It's got vitamin B12, which is a really important vitamin. And it tastes cheesy, basically. So it's really good for cheesy sauces. I'm going to add a little bit of plant milk. And then I'm going to blitz this up. So I'll try again. I hopefully won't make too much noise. And so pretty much how you traditionally make yourself a cottage pie. It's just, we're replacing a few ingredients. We're adding a few extra ingredients that make it, we think, more interesting, just more flavour, healthier. And you can batch cook it as well and freeze it. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly mash it up. So you can use a potato masher, but for speed, I'm just using a big blender. And it just makes it really creamy. Just a little bit noisy. And then that cheese, I mean, normally you would have, your potatoes will probably be hot, but because I prepped, bit of a one escape, minus a cold now, but it'll warm up in the oven. Okay, so I've got my nice thick and creamy mash, thick, creamy and cheesy. And I'm going to load up. See, this would actually make a big old amount. I've got more than my pot, so I need to get a bigger pot, but obviously you're going to have in your kitchens big industrial size equipment. So let me just move this to one side, and then I'm just going to, so I'm trying to be elegant but not quite working.
Very elegant.
Okay, so I've got my pot, my dish rather. It's going to load up loads of this lovely filling. Luckily you can't see that I've spilled a bit. So you can see how quick it is. Yes, I prepped, but it's easy prep. It's like a bit of chopping, roughly chopping as well. But the results you get, it's worth it.
I always think a cottage pie is like a bit, compared to some of the other recipes, it's not the most exciting, but it's so good, this recipe. It just, try it at home because it really is tasty.
It's just a good recipe, tasty food.
Comfort food,
healthy food. And healthy, sometimes you think, when you say healthy, you think, oh, healthy equals boring, but it doesn't. It's nourishing. It's the kind of food that's going to, nourish you and help you think and work, which when you're at school, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Making friends, you're chatting, clearly that's what I did at school. Just studying, that's what you do. Okay, so I'm just going to press that down a bit, and then I'm going to add my topping. Show you. I feel like I'm being a bit slow today, so I'm trying to speed up a bit. And
it's 3:25, so you've got 35 minutes. Got ages.
I've got this really lovely, thick, cheesy topping that is just going to be lush. So I'm just going to spread it out, put it on first, then fill in any gaps. And this,
guess what you're having tonight for dinner?
It's, yes. I'm not going to even pretend that's not happening. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to, and you could sprinkle some more cheese on top. I'm not going to, because I think I've got quite enough cheese in here. It looks pretty cheesy. Or shall I? Maybe I'll put just a little bit. So you could be a bit more elegant than I am.
It's rustic.
It is rustic. We're under time constraints. Maybe I'll do the little thing that my mum used to do with the fork. Simple decoration. Okay, and I'm going to pop that in the oven. And then we can move on to our next dish.
Fabulous.
By the time I've finished, it should be ready. Here it goes. Right, got my hob back. Oh, actually, I don't need my hob for this one because we're going to make the creamy pasta. And this always goes down a real treat. And we've had really, really good feedback. So I thought I'd show you because the sauce is so delicious. And I broke my glasses, baby. So let's have the next poll question, please. Whilst I talk to you a little bit about the ingredients.
So would the children at your school like to see more pasta dishes? Nice, easy one.
Yeah, I wonder what the percentage would be. In life, do we want more pasta dishes?
Yes. I want pasta dishes every day, please.
Yes.
Yes, they love pasta, believe it or not. 78%, perhaps. Not sure, 22%. Okay, more pasta is the answer.
Yes. Well, this is a really versatile pasta sauce. So we've teamed it with pasta shells because children like them, but you can actually team this with any pasta that you like. So that's just what we've chosen. It's got 2 different types of beans in it. One you can see and one you can't. So beans are like superpower. They're so good. They're so good for you. They're packed with fibre. And we always say this. People think about plant-based food, they worry they're suddenly going to be deficient in protein, which is absolutely not true. What most people, generally speaking, are deficient in is fibre, and that's what we pack all of our dishes with. So it just helps the whole body, the whole system, and we all, as Colette was mentioning earlier about gut microbiome, having this kind of diverse range of foods is the perfect way. Anyway, so for the white bean sauce, we've got butter beans, which are one of my favourite beans, and a vegetable stock. And we're going to add that to another sauce, which is beautiful, which is a roasted tomato sauce, a bit more traditional. So that's roasted tomatoes, veg stock, a little bit of tomato ketchup and some Italian herbs. Now we love using herbs at ProVeg, and they're just so good for you. So they have, not only do they taste good, easy to store, easy to use, they're really, really good for you. So they're just like a powerhouse of goodness in a pot. So I'm just going to bring over my food processor. So this dish, particular dish, I would say you would need a food processor unless you wanted to do it by hand, or a stick blender, which you can get them for a fiver. But obviously, if you're doing this on a big scale, I would recommend a food processor. But if you haven't got one, you can still make it with a potato masher. It's going to be a chunky sauce. So in here, can't really lift it up unfortunately, is roasted tomatoes and butter beans. To that, I'm going to add all these spices. So Italian herbs, garlic granules, in it goes. And I'm going to add the tomato sauce, because tomato sauce is obviously the same as tomato puree, but it's got sugar in it, so it's a bit sweeter, really palatable. Children love it. It's only a little bit, but you've still got that familiar taste. And to that, I'm going to add some vegetable stock. I'm going to keep a bit back, because then I can always add more. And this is going to make a little bit of a noise. Nothing too bad. If we pulse it to this stage, it's quite chunky, so I'm going to keep going though. Just loosening my pasta because it's been sat for a while. So just what I'm doing is obviously just breaking it up a bit. And I put like the tiniest bit of oil, which isn't the recipe, but literally a smidgen of oil in there just to help it from sticking. But obviously anything you add like that is going to change the nutritional value. So one more tiny little pulse. And there we have our nice thick, creamy, tomatoey, herby sauce. And sorry, a bit loud. Sorry. So I'll get that out of the way. And then we've got our other beans, our calorini beans. And obviously all tinned products, so store cupboard ingredients, which the reason I say that is it's just good to have products. Yes, fresh is always brilliant, of course, but it's good to have things that you can have in bulk, keep them in the store cupboard. It's just easy. Okay, so I'm going to add this into my dish. And another thing about our recipes is they are all measured out. So you can we can do the, so basically it's for 10 primary school children, or what we believe is a family of 4, or you can then double them, triple them. So I'm going to add in my creamy sauce, packed with goodness. So you can use roasted tomatoes, or a push, you could use tinned tomatoes, but roasted tomatoes for me always taste amazing, so much nicer. And then I'm going to add in the beans, and then give that a good stir. And it's pasta, it's familiar, it's got that, you know, the familiar flavours, but you've also got the added benefit of, as I said, 2 types of beans. It's full of fibre, it's just creamy, you've got the lovely sweetness of the tomato, and then you've got all those lovely Italian herbs, all the goodness that comes with that as well. And it's just a really nice quick dish. You can see there was no frying, there was just, it was literally blitz done. And it's going to finish off with a little bit of parsley. And you've just got a really quick, lovely, filling, satisfying dish that's a winner. So I'm going to put that over there for now. Let's get rid of this. And I'm going to show you the chili non carne. Now the chili non carne dish is really, really versatile, and I'll tell you about that in a sec. So we'll just have a little look at the ingredients, and then we'll, I'm not sure we've got a poll for this question. I can't question for this poll, so I'll double check.
We've just got the slide up on the screen at the moment, Lisa, so we've just got all the cost and all the kind of key nutrition info.
Oh, lovely. Yes, so the cost 36 pence, as you can see, fibre 7.1, protein 12 grams, saturated fat 0.4, low in fat, low in sugar, contains omega-3. So yeah, it's a lovely, lovely dish. And again, nice and simple to make. And let me find my... So I'm just getting all my ingredients ready. My tomatoes, getting all organised. And I seem to have misplaced my, oh, here we are. Okay, so again, lovely ingredients. This can be made with served with rice. It can be served with on a jacket potato. So I'm just going to warm up my hob again. Apologies if it's quite loud. And again, you've got all those really lovely ingredients that are crowd pleasers, nice colours. So we're going to start off with a little bit of oil. I've already chopped my pepper and onion. So in here, I've got pepper, onion, and a little bit of tomato puree as well. So once my oil's heated up, I'm going to fry it off. Other ingredients, again, we've got some lovely lentils, the same lentils I used before. We've also got kidney beans and sweet corn. I'm going to add that in. And again, we're using the soya mince, which is really, it has got a lot of protein, fibre, and really, really good for you. So really lovely main. So yeah, perfect in a jacket potato. You could probably mix it with some rice and have it as a burrito as well, as a grab and go. It's usually more for senior schools, but turn that down. Just going to gently fry this off. And you've got the lovely sweetness of the pepper as well. And
really nice at home. I was just going to say, Lisa, it's lovely just with like some nachos and cheese and guacamole at home. I quite like it like that too.
When this hob's on, I find it really hard to hear you. So apologies if I'm not.
It's okay, don't worry.
So just again, add a little bit of stock. You can just add a little splash of water if it does tend to stick. And we've got our spices. So for this dish, you've got smoked paprika, you've got cumin, and what else have we got? I've forgotten the last one. A mild chili powder as well. So it's a really spicy, exciting dish that the children will hopefully love. And again, you've got all the goodness that goes into those warming spices. Oh, it just smells like as soon as you put them in, it transforms the dish and it just smells absolutely amazing. And it's so good for you. And it's just really good to expose the children to these different flavours and at such a young age as well. So they're used to it. They're used to eating a diverse diet with all the benefits and the feel-good factor as well, which is equally as important. Okay, so that's mixing in. That's frying off nicely. So to that, I'm going to add, in the recipe it's a tin of tomatoes, but I'm just using some of the tomatoes that I roasted off for the other sauce. So in that goes. But for quickness and for storage, tin tomatoes absolutely fine. And to that, I'm going to add in the soy mince. Some stock. I'm going to add in some lentils as well. Again, you've got the lovely texture, the goodness, the colours. Give it a gentle stir. This pan's quite little. Easy to get it everywhere. What was the? We didn't have a poll for a question for this dish.
No.
Okay. So as you can see, just already looking delicious. Gently stir that round. And then I'm going to add in the kidney beans, which we're familiar with the chili. And also you've got the sweet corn as well. I'm not going to add too much because I'm overflowing at the moment. But again, really quick and versatile. And just you can make in advance, you can batch cook this, you can make a huge amount. And as I said, all of our recipes. There you go, look at the colours. There's like a party in a pan there.
Party in a pan.
Party in a pan.
That should be our new strap line, I think, party in a pan.
Party in a pan. Right. Okay, so let me get this out of the way and then I'll put this into a dish. You could possibly cook this for a bit longer, but just for time-wise, I'll just show you. It's only really the onions and peppers, and with a bit of bite, that's fine as well.
These sorts of dishes are always lovely when you make them at home the next day, aren't they? When it's all kind of melded together, all the flavours. And you try these dishes at home because they're great. We all have them at home and have tubs of it stuffed in the freezer and the fridge for when you can't be bothered and you don't want to have another ready meal. You've got it ready to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're going to feel good after eating this food. Yeah, you're going to feel energized.
Not if you eat that amount, you won't.
Yeah, you won't want to go to bed. Okay, put that there. Got a nice little pie. And there you go. Oh, a little bit of green. And there you have your chili non carne, which you can serve with rice. As I said, your jacket potato. You could have it in a burrito, cold.
Yes.
Really, really delicious. Right, after all that, we need something sweet, I think. And we've got two things for you. We've got a crumble and a brownie. And the brownie, actually, sorry, let me get this up for you so we can have a look at the ingredients. And the brownie's such a hit. It is my favourite, but I love the crumble as well. So that's what we're doing. And also it's February, if you even care about Valentine's, which I don't, but I seem to love eating chocolate in February, so it's a really chocolatey brownie. So we're going to put the stats up for you. And so really simple recipe, but so effective because it's so sticky. And you've got the goodness in this as well. You've got beetroot, you've got black beans, you know, you've got plant milk, and you've got the vanilla, and it's just really, really lovely, delicious ingredients. And we use plant butter as well in the solid form, which is actually super easy to get nowadays as well. You can use store as well, but the plant butter I think works out a lot better. Okay, so for this one, you cream the butter and sugar first, which I've done in a stand mixer over there. So I'm just going to switch it on just to liven it up, and then I'm going to fold the other ingredients in. So it won't be a second. So I just pre-mixed it to save time and noise. So this one, I'm just using a normal brownie tin. And I'm using just a non-stick one, so I'm just going to scrape off. So in here so far is vanilla, butter and sugar, plant butter obviously. But you would not tell the difference if you were worried. And I'm just going to scrape that round so it's nice and soft and fluffy. You can do it by hand, of course, we have done many times, but just for time and ease, I use a stand mixer. So we've got plain flour, bicarbonate of soda, and a little bit of cocoa powder. And in that goes. To that, I'm also going to add some plant milk. And then I'm going to give that a stir before I add in the black beans. So if you do use a stand mixer at work, a large one, you just put it all in there. Really nice and simple. And then mix that round. It's so nice. This is a really, really lovely, and I definitely, try all the recipes, but yeah, if you're in a mood for something sweet, then definitely this is a winner. It's going to add a little bit more plant milk. And then black beans. If you don't cook with black beans, they usually have it like in a Mexican dish, refried beans. That's how I was most familiar with. They are such a wonderful bean, and they're the powerhouse of beans. They're just packed with goodness. And what happens is they actually replace walnuts. So you've got the bite, the crunch, and they're white on the inside. So they almost kind of look like walnuts as well. Obviously, they're a lot more economical. So really good for you. So there you go. That is it. That is how simple it is. Get my brownie tin. Nice. You can tell it's going to be good by the batter, because it's a really good batter. And I know that the chefs that made this, Richard Fox, they tried many different types, many different methods, and this one's definitely a winner.
So we've just got a poll question up, Lisa. Have you ever used beans and or beetroot in a dessert? So interesting to see what everybody says.
Yeah. I'm just smooshing it round.
So 57% yes, they have. 29% no, completely new, and 14% not yet, but they have other desserts with vegetables in. So that's brilliant. Very good,
isn't it?
very good.
So I'm just going to wash your hands for a second.
Okay, Catherine says, have you forgotten the beetroot?
Oh, Catherine, you're right. And you know, I was thinking when I was putting it in, I was thinking, oh, it's not going as far. Catherine, well spotted. Well spotted. That's so annoying. You know what? I'm going to leave that out and I'm going to put that in later and bake it. I don't want to waste that.
Extra points, Catherine. Well done.
Yes, well done. Do you know what? I knew it was thinner than usual, and I thought, oh, don't worry about it.
That's funny.
And once it's baked, luckily, let me just check on my. Yeah, oh, that's looking really good. Once it's baked, it is so yummy. And you can see how the packaging looks like a walnut. And they are really, really good. And let me tell you, I think there's 2 missing from here.
Where have they gone?
Don't know. They seem to just went.
Was it
there? Quality control. Okay, so my last recipe for you. How are we doing for time, please, Claire?
You've got 10 minutes, just over 10 minutes.
Perfect. So this is a really nice dish. It's the summer crumble. So let's have a look at the ingredients. So this is the crunchy crumble with the summer fruits and a raspberry ripple yogurt. So we've got a crumble topping and a fruit filling and a raspberry ripple yogurt as well. So pretty traditional for the crumble. We've got oats or demerara sugar for that crunch. For the filling, we've got frozen mixed berries, eating apples cut into chunks, a little bit of caster sugar, and then for the yogurt, we use a plant yogurt and the raspberries, a little bit of caster sugar. So really, really yummy, lovely textures, really lovely to look at. And all I've done today is I've added, so I'm out of breath, literally done nothing. I've added a pear and I've kept the skin on. So that's just what I did. So it's not in the recipe, but I've got the apple in there, obviously. I just decided I felt like adding a pear to it, so I did.
It's versatile.
That's what it is. You can use, I think it does say, you can switch up the fruits, up to you. And we're going to add in a little bit of sugar. Stir. And the colours are just so pretty as well, I think. You can see it's just mixing around. Looking really lovely. And then I've got oats. Now, oats, as we know, are slow release energy, really good for you. You've got roughage, fibre. And, you know, you wouldn't necessarily equate oats with a dessert, but children don't think, oh, I'm having oats. They're like, oh, I'm having a crumble, delicious. So it's nicer than using just flour because you've got the goodness. So we've got some of that crunchy sugar. Better mix in. And then a little bit of oil. Give that a stir around. And you're going to have to forgive me because I haven't got a very traditional tin, because I used them all, but I've got one to show you that I already made. So I'm just going to use like a cake tin, but it's fine, it will still cook and be nice. So in it goes. Lovely colours. Now you want to press that down quite compactly because you don't really want the crumble to fall in between the cracks.
It's so simple, isn't it?
So simple, but you know, a real winner. And then I'm going to sprinkle my crumble on top. Quite generous for my crumble.
I've made this for a dinner party.
Oh yeah.
I quite like doing that, just cooking up the recipes, making them look really nice, and then say this is school food, and everybody's like, wow,
yeah,
really good.
you just wouldn't think it, would you? School food's got such a bad reputation, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, not when we're working with you.
We're here to change all that.
Yeah. And there you go. It's literally really simple, and you can obviously, as you know, you can make that in a huge batch. So I actually want to show you the cottage pie. So excuse me. Actually, no, let me turn that off. Sorry, and I'll show you the rest of the dessert first. I'm teasing you around. So this is a baked one, and you can see how lovely it is. You've got that lovely thick bit of fruit at the bottom and a lovely crunchy crumble. Now my yogurt's been sat out for over an hour, but you can see the raspberry ripple effect. It's difficult to hold it up for you, but you just get the juice and you just ripple it through the yogurt, and it looks really pretty. So let's serve up a bit of this. Lovely. Oh, I've got my bowl, haven't I? I'm running out of spoons, so I will just use this one. Now again, I don't know who took a big chunk of this out.
Honestly.
I'm going to have words with this mystery.
Maybe you've got mice or something there.
So in it goes. Really, I need a bigger spoon. Story of my life. And it's just a really pretty crumble. I don't know how well you can see this, but
yeah, it's a good ratio of topping to fruit as well. I like lots of crumble. It's really good. Not don't scrimp on the crumble topping.
So I don't know how
gorgeous.
Yeah, but it's really, really nice. I'll put that to one side. So I want to show you the dishes at the end, all of them together.
Got 5 minutes.
Okie doke. And then I'm just going to show you the pie. That's just bubbling away.
Yum. Oh yeah, look at it all oozing out the sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's just those flavours marinating together.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely delicious. Little recap before I see if anyone has any questions. So we've got our lovely pasta, our creamy roasted tomato pasta. It's quite heavy. And we've also got our pie. We've got the chili non carne, which is
gorgeous.
Just fiesta. We have the sticky toffee, the sticky chocolate brownie with banana ice cream. Now, I apologise, I didn't make the banana ice cream for you, but it's bananas mashed up and frozen. So good, really creamy, really healthy. Download the brochure. And then, of course, last but not least, we have the lovely summer fruit crunchy crumble, which is also a real winner as well. It's a feast. You know,
has anybody got any questions before we finish? I was just going to add, we've actually got at least one of our partners that we work with, a council, who have made all their desserts plant-based, and they've said it's just been worked so well, and it just makes life so much easier for them because they don't have to make different desserts for different children. And everybody eats them and they all taste great, and they've taken out all those kids that have got dairy allergies or egg allergies, that's all gone. They don't put them in the dishes at all, so it works beautifully, and they're getting kids really loving the dishes. But yeah, give them a try.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to see any photos. If you do try them, if you could send us a photo of it, that would be wonderful. Our next 15th of March is our next workshop, and we have new recipes. You heard it here first. So please do sign up. Brand new recipes, never been seen before on our platforms. So do join us then. If you could sign up, that would be wonderful.
We've just had a comment from Deborah who says, I have 2 as a private school. I'm assuming that means in relation to having plant-based desserts, but if I've got that wrong, Deborah, do tell us. But that's brilliant. But yeah, absolutely, you can still do it even if you're not a private school. You don't need to have that in the dessert if you don't want to, so it's entirely up to you. As long as you're served meeting the school feed standards elsewhere, that works. But thank you. Any more questions or comments? Oh, have we got another one? Maybe not, maybe that's it. Yes, plant-based desserts, just to confirm. That's great. So there's others doing it too, which is wonderful. Any more questions from anybody? If not, we will see you next time. Don't forget to sign up for the new recipes next time round. Anybody who wanted a copy of a hard copy of the recipes, drop me an email and I will get those out to you. And please, just when the webinar ends, if you'd be kind enough to just fill out the short survey, that would be really helpful. And we will see you hopefully on the 15th of March. Thanks very much for joining us. See you. Bye.